Alright, just a quick one today because I'm honestly still really not feeling good at all. It's a long running thing that I hope to get sorted at some point, but regardless I want to keep being somewhat consistent with the content for you guys, and today I want to address the Save Battlefield 5 petition, why I disagree with it, why I don't support it, what I say to the pushback I receive when I talk about that, and why it's super unlikely to make anything of substance happen either way. But just quickly, whenever I've mentioned this recently, you guys have been supporting it incredibly. I'm trying to reach 50k subs at some point in the nearest future while Battlefield is still at least a little bit relevant until the next one. Currently at 44k, so if you're new or haven't subbed before, then even just considering doing so would be massively appreciated. So let's jump straight into this. When I say I don't want Battlefield 5 to be saved, to have content continue to be made for it, to have the DICE team split their focus again, it genuinely doesn't mean I support the poor live service they put out and the subsequent early cancellation. I in fact called it shameful when it eventually happened, and I truly stand by that. But that is the direction they've decided to go in, to look to the future and essentially try to right the franchise before it sinks. And that is actually of importance because EA do cancel franchises that don't deliver what they expect. Look what happened to Medal of Honor, for example. Now I understand that some people love BF5, or I understand that some people also really enjoyed the final content drop that it received, and I indeed have also enjoyed having a host of new weapons and gadgets and stuff to use. But DICE splitting their attention or changing their intended direction again is not a sensible, logical option at this point. The decision has been made to move on. BF5 new content has been pulled, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been brought to a close. It makes no sense at all to now pull a 180 and risk affecting the next Battlefield title, risk affecting when it releases or the quality of the product. And I say this as a content creator. I say this as someone that would benefit from BF5 getting more content before the next Battlefield title. I would have more to talk about, I wouldn't have a massive drought of relevant content to make on the game. It would make things much easier for me, and yet, for the sake of the franchise, for the sake of the long-term future of my content, and for the sake of the community as a whole, I still don't support more content for BF5 at this point. This is not a selfish statement, it is a considered and reasonable one. Imagine it this way, say they did decide to bring back content support for BF5 due to the petition and such like, and then the next Battlefield releases in a poor state again. How does that play out? Everyone looks at now having 2 BF games in a row that haven't delivered. Content support for BF5 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 were ended, seemingly for this new BF game that isn't up to par, and a flaw could be honed in on of them not setting a clear direction again, caving instead to just a little bit of public pressure, and putting more time into BF5 after initially deciding not to, and already disappointing the community at that point, leading to more disappointment later on. They genuinely need to just pick a path and stick to it now. Now that also isn't to say I assume the next Battlefield will be good just because they've decided to take this current path. I'm making no assumptions at all, but I certainly hope it will be good, and logically, focusing on it gives a better chance of it being good than pulling people off working on it to support the BF5 title that has largely disappointed for its entire life cycle up to this point. To deviate now would likely go down as another mistake from DICE, and I truly don't think they'll decide to do it anyway, regardless of how much support the petition gets. Their plans are now in motion, and to be fair, the player support for the game that mattered to them was player numbers, and those numbers weren't there, and rightly so. Those are the numbers that actually mattered, not now getting people to sign a petition after the fact. The mistakes were already made, the game already didn't deliver, they were not able to turn it round, and they've decided to move on. A decision I didn't like, but now one that needs to be stuck to. Because let's also keep in mind that this update being praised is largely due to the amount of working content it had, and the reason it had a substantial amount is because they clearly pulled most of what they had working and available and put it into this update. It's not as if that would happen on a regular basis, because their content output wouldn't suddenly just skyrocket out of nowhere, even more so not with a smaller team working on it. So if the amount and quality of the content being released before wasn't good enough, why would even less now suddenly be acceptable? The only possible way I could see and would support more BF5 content being added at this point is if it's handed off to an entirely different team. That's literally the only way. Taking people off their current Battlefield related project to go back to BF5 is a total no-go. We have rumours of an older BF title reboot, we have rumours of Battlefield going back to its roots and whatever else. Whatever the truth is, I strongly support now getting behind whatever the current plan is and hoping for the best. Not giving DICE a pass at all for how BF5 has played out, because I think it was totally unacceptable, but also not now now flipping the script and claiming BF5 is now good and needs more stuff in it. Let's be consistent. I will say though, if you've always enjoyed BF5, if you're in the minority and you want more for it, then that's fine. I don't think you're going to get it, but more power to you, and I'm happy you enjoyed the game, and I sympathize with the fact you're now likely not getting more for it. It is okay to disagree with me on that front. But as for the long-term health of the franchise now, hashtag save Battlefield 5 or whatever it is, isn't the sensible route. I don't blame you for supporting it, but I don't personally support it, and I don't think it's the right way to go. And so, that's my quick coverage of this point. Let me know what you think either way. I hope you can see my logic. I hope you can see I'm not excusing DICE in any way, shape or form. And if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. If not, maybe a dislike. Consider subscribing, as I said, if you're new or haven't done so before. And all the links to my social media, including Patreon, can be found in the description and my pinned comment, where if you do decide to support me on Patreon, you'll join the board of awesome you're seeing right here with all the epic people that already do so, and I love them all deeply and of course often. So yep, links to that in the description and my pinned comment. And with all that said, I am GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. So what is it for? Where are we going with this? Because the Selbst Ladder 1916 has the same damage model and has 160% more rounds available per reload, standing at 26.